let us see on the other part what things they be that might affirm God to be the cause of sin. In the first chapter to the Romans it is written, that seeing the idolaters knew God, and would not worship him as God, therefore as meet it was, he gave them up unto a reprobate sense, and unto shameful lusts. If he gave them, he also provoked and moved them. In Exodus it is written, that God had hardened and dulled the heart of Pharaoh, so that he would not hearken when Moses commanded him in the name of God to let the people depart. In the 6th of Isaiah, he is said to blind the people, that they should not see. When we pour out our prayers before God, we desire him that he lead us not into temptation, but that he will deliver us from evil. To what end should we thus pray, if these things should not sometimes be? No man entreateth except for those things which may be, or which do hang over his head, or which he feareth will come to pass. They are wont to say that God doth and willeth these things, not as they be sins, but in respect that they be punishments to chasten him that hath sinned. But it is hard to appoint the punishment and fault to be all one thing, seeing the nature of punishment and fault is diverse. A fault ariseth from the will, whereas punishment is laid upon us against our will. If it be committed voluntarily, then there is no punishment. To affirm a thing to be voluntary and yet involuntary can hardly be made to agree. That which is the cause of a cause may also be called the cause of the effect, but no man doubteth but that God hath given us a will, inclinations, properties, and effects, whereby we are provoked to sin. If God be said to be the cause of these things, why dare we not say that he is the cause of sins? That which removeth the impediments, if the thing afterward happen, or the effect follow, it shall be called the cause of sin. What doth chiefly let sins? Even grace and the good Spirit of God. Except these keep us back, we shall rush headlong into most grievous crimes. Who can remove grace or take away the Spirit, but only God which gave them? If he remove the lets, no doubt, but he is some cause of sins. Also he that ministereth an occasion of anything, he seemeth to be an author thereof. Although he be not the chiefest cause, if he give an occasion, he shall not fail to be called author. God knew the hardness of Pharaoh's heart, and he knew that he being not holpen by the Spirit would be provoked to sin. So the law is said to increase sin, if it be not proposed to the regenerate. For we always bend ourselves unto that which we be forbidden, and covet that which we be denied. God commandeth Pharaoh to let the people go. What is this but to offer an occasion that he might be the more hardened? We cannot deny but that God doth minister occasions. Yea, and he not only giveth occasions, but we can also show commandments, wherein he commandeth sin. We have in the history of the kings that Ahab was a wicked prince, that God determined to punish him in battle. He would have him brought to this by the flatteries and false persuasions of false prophets. God is brought in to talk with the spirits, who can seduce Ahab. There stepped forth an evil spirit which said, I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of the false prophets. God alloweth and commandeth it. Go thy ways, do so. He giveth encouragement, it shall be so. Further, we cannot deny but that sin is a certain human action. But every deed, as it comes in act, dependeth of the first principle of all things. God is, as the philosophers acknowledge him, primus actus, the first agent. Unless he be the upholder, there can be no agent. Wherefore sin dependeth on God as upon the cause efficient. Sins for the most part be motions, and motions have an order, so as the inferior dependeth upon the superior. Therefore the cause of sin, so far forth as it is a motion, is directed unto his own mover. Augustine hath certain testimonies of this thing, and confirmeth it also by some places of the Scripture. In his book De Gratia et Libero Arbitrio, the 12th chapter, he saith, that there is no doubt but that God worketh in men's minds, to make their wills incline either to good according to his mercy, or unto evil according to their merits, by his judgment undoubtedly which sometime is open, sometime secret, but evermore just. In the beginning of that chapter he saith, Who can but tremble at these horrible judgments of God, whereby he worketh what he will in the hearts of the wicked, yielding to every one according to his deserts? And he addeth, He verily worketh in the hearts of men the motions of their will, and by them he doth those things that he will do, who nevertheless cannot will anything unjustly. This he proveth by the Scriptures. In the first of Kings we have the history of Rehoboam, who hearkened not to the counsel of the ancients, that he should deal mildly with the people. But it is said that this turning away was of the Lord, to the intent he might establish the saying of Ahiah the Silonite. Wherefore, as Augustine expoundeth it, that naughty will was of the Lord. He allegeth another place out of the 2nd book of Chronicles, the 21st chapter. God stirred up the Philistines and Arabians against Joram, which followed idolatry. God was minded to punish him. Undoubtedly, the motions of the Minds and the Philistines and Arabians were wicked against Joram, insomuch as they invaded other men's countries and were infected with cruelty. And yet God is said to have stirred them up. In the same history of kings, they are speaking of Amasius, which provoked Joash the king of Israel unto battle. Yea, and Joash himself, and also the prophet of the Lord, discouraged him from the purpose. But he, being carried with ambition, hearkened not unto the godly admonitions, which thing nevertheless came from God, who would that he should be delivered into his hands, because he followed the idols of Edom.